The United States Postal Service, one of the oldest and most important services that exist in this country. They have something they call the GAO, and that's the General Accounting Office. When the post office pays for everything they do through the products they sell to the public and the services and products that they sell to the public. Any extra monies that the Postal Service gets after that has to go back into the GAO. So if you have other federal agencies that are not very cost effective, uh, that would probably be like a number of them, including the Pentagon, especially. These are monies that the Postal Service could use for research and development and to also upgrade what it is they do for the public. Nowhere in the world do you have somebody showing up to your house if you live in the city, if you live in the suburbs, or if you live in a rural area that delivers your mail on a daily basis, except for the United States Postal Service system. It's the most complete system that the world has in terms of mail delivery. There's a lot of things that come through the mail that are important to people. Obviously, if you're ordering stuff from Amazon, Amazon has a relationship with the Postal Service where there's a lot of areas they don't deliver to. They use the Postal Service to do that. You have people that are getting medicines. You have a lot of people that are veterans that they get their medicines through the Postal Service. But the one area that we're going to talk about very importantly right now is mail in ballots. And this is where um, politicians, mainly happens to be on the Republican side when it comes to this, put their finger on the scale because they know and they have the data that shows that the vast majority of people that are using mail in ballots fall into three categories. There are people who are older people that can't get out and get about. Maybe they also are people who are indigent. They have some type of handicap that doesn't allow them to get out and go to the polls. You also have people that are veterans who are serving overseas, and they use the mail-in ballots as well. And then the other part is there's a number of people who generally vote Democrat that use mail-in ballots. So the questions and talking points that you'll hear on Fox News, OAN, and these other right-leaning um, uh, news areas uh, is that something is wrong with mail-in ballots. Any American that has voted knows that when you go to your polling station, they look at the last time that you voted. You have your signature in there. You show, in some cases, your ID. It is literally impossible for a guy that is from an immigrant country to just up and vote. It just can't be done because your information is not in there. You don't have a voter's registration card. You don't have a home address that is a legitimate to your voter registration card. So all this guff that you're hearing about this is literally bullshit.
I just wanted to mention that for Texas, remember they didn't have us with a voter registration card? They say you don't need it.
I don't recall that.
Remember when
Oh
we
yeah,
went
well
to
when we
that
went in there,
second that church and then I we had it
right,
and then the lady was like, "Oh no, I don't need that. Just give me your ID."
right,
And
because
we were like, "Okay."
right, well, and again,
But
that
you need
just
the ID.
yeah, you need your ID, and then you're going to see where you previously voted because they have a book that has all the times that you voted. So people that vote in the local elections or if you have primaries, normally I'm always national elections every time, and then primary elections, and then occasionally, if I remember to or if I'm interested in a particular candidate, I'll do a local election. All right. So now this is what we got. We got a guy who has his own trucking company called XPO Logistics. He is the postmaster of this country. appointed by a person who I think is completely corrupt, my own opinion, and that is Donald J. Trump. This man has this company XPO Logistics, and they make him the postmaster. I have a 38-year career in the Postal Service, and I have watched how certain elements of what the post office does and does very efficiently and cheaply suddenly have become under fire. And one of them, and the main one we're talking about today, is mail-in ballots. So in a major processing facility, they have what they call flat sorting machines. And what all of a sudden occurred at the beginning of Mr. DeJoy's tenure as a postmaster general of the United States is that all these flat sorting machines that would be the machines that you would use expressly for processing the mail-in ballots, which come in a fairly large envelope, all of a sudden these machines are being taken offline. And because of this, they're delaying the mail ballots or making them harder to process. This is called taking away your right as an American citizen to democracy and your ability to vote. This is being done on purpose because the credo of the Republican Party for many years has been, let's cheat. Let's find every way we can cheat. This is what's made the whole presidency of Donald Trump so laughable that you could actually listen to a recording of a president telling the governor of Georgia, we need 11,700 and whatever votes. You need 11,000 votes. And the guy saying, well, what do you want me to do? People voted, we counted the votes, and you're 11,000 short. And for all the people that believe in the total bullshit that Donald Trump says all the time about how elections are stolen, how did he win the first time? So by pure logic, if a guy runs for the presidency and wins, then that means the system was acceptable to him. How is it that when he runs for president again and loses, it's completely unacceptable? That is what you call bullshit.
Let's get back into the mail-in ballots.
Yes, of course. The mail-in ballots are being stifled by Mr. DeJoy, a Trump appointee. And what needs to happen is if you are going to be voting in this election, you need to get your hands on your mail-in ballots now. A. B, especially if you're living in a red state, these red states are now doing laws that slow down or somehow throw people off the voters' rolls. We got right here in Texas, Governor Abbott is bragging about how he threw 1 million people off the voter rolls. A lot of the people that they're throwing off the voter rolls are American citizens, but purely by the fact that they may have a Spanish-sounding last name, they are throwing them off the voter rolls. And this is why there is a court case going on right now with a group that's a Spanish voter rights and registration group called LULAC that is trying to make sure that people are not getting their democratic right and their right as American citizens trampled on by these Republican sickos that don't want Americans to have their fair right to vote. And we can have a whole conversation about the Electoral College, because when Donald Trump ran against Hillary Clinton won by 3 million votes in the popular vote, but still lost the Electoral College. That's a separate conversation. But what we need to see happen right now is for Mr. Louis DeJoy to be taken out of his position and to be replaced by somebody that wants to work for the American people and do the right thing. My hat's off to Brad Raffensperger. Brad was the head of the Republican machine in Georgia and was one of the guys that said, Mr. Trump, we can't give you votes that you don't have. And then that man his life and his family's life was torn apart by the people that were calling and making death threats. and this is something that's taking place across the United States. And municipalities, state attorney generals who are not corrupt, like the one we have in Texas, uh, should go after anybody that messes with any processing in regards to voting. If you're a poll watcher, if you're a person that's working in on the voters board, it needs to be fair. It needs to be not politicized, your job. And by no means, if you're working and doing the right thing by your state, your county, to work as a volunteer, should you be threatened by anybody at any time. And if you are threatened, the investigation needs to happen, and that person needs to go to federal prison for it. So that's what we got. Get out there, make sure your registration is good, and get out there and vote and do your American constitutional right.
Hello, hello, hello. I would greatly appreciate it if you can actually support my little small business called Latrice Limited. It is on latricelimited.com. So as you can see right here, I actually sell candles and a wide variety of other items as well. This is my big forehead, okay? But I actually want to show you just a couple of different items that I do sell. This is actually going to be a part of my soap collection that I have. As you can see, I have a variety of different soaps on here. I actually have 2 pages worth of soaps, and everything is handmade, okay, natural, clean ingredients as well. You can also see right here, these are my candles. All right, they're all handmade, everything vanilla, sweet roses, sage and vanilla and sweet roses are actually my favorite scents that I do have. I also have a few other items on here. I'm actually going to go and show you all the bath bombs that I do have. As you all can see, there's eucalyptus and sage, sweet pea harmony, and so many more. And then we're just going to finish off on the gift sets that I have. There's a variety of them, from like the big ones like this for $45, and then you have some of the smaller ones, and you have these itty bitty ones down here that includes essential oil blends. Definitely shop with your girl. Definitely help your girl out. I would greatly appreciate it. This is like my little baby over here, okay? I would greatly appreciate it, and enjoy.